Mr. Otto loves you. Today, 6 ways to help you with your fears.
So now that we understand a little bit about where our fears came from and the purpose they've had in our lives, let's talk about things we can do to make them lighter, to make our fears manageable. And the first thing you do is to feel it, really feel it, and not from a place of being a victim, oh, poor me and my fears, but from a powerful, loving, compassionate place deep inside. After all, if you want to set your fears free, you've got to know what you're setting free. So, when you get afraid, where do you feel it in your body? Some people feel tense, like they cannot move. Some people, particularly when they're going to talk in front of a large group of people, like myself, get sweaty palms. Our hearts beat a little bit faster. Our brains get a little bit confused. Do you have these symptoms? Do you? How do you feel when you get afraid? Sometimes people get afraid and they don't know what to say. That is a freezing type of reaction. Some people get afraid and they want to fight. And some people get afraid and they want to run, which is very understandable. We get afraid of our own emotions, to be afraid of being sad. And that's why we sometimes stuff it away and choose not to feel it. Because sometimes when you think about crying, well, you wonder, when am I going to stop? And when we're fearful of things and we don't do anything about it, they get stuck deep inside of our bodies. But we can do quite a bit about that. Let me tell you, we shall discuss. And the interesting thing about fear, your fears, most of them are in your heads. So the first thing you can do when you're feeling afraid is ask yourself, is my life in danger? Is my health in danger? If the answer is no, well, you can probably move ahead with confidence. Understand that fear is very normal. And just like any emotion, you can feel it, let it pass through your body, and it will turn into something else. My colleagues and I were talking the other day that if you're feeling fear, and you go ahead and you do the thing that you're afraid of, when you're done, you're no longer afraid. Well, you may be feeling courage, or you might be feeling embarrassed, or you might be feeling something else, but you don't feel the fear anymore. Isn't that interesting? And when you do feel your fear in your body, identify it. Is the fear in your stomach? Is the fear in your head? Is the fear making your arms and legs tight? You sit and you feel it. But feel it from a place of love and appreciation for what the fear has done for you. Yes, that's true. Fear has kept us very aware of our surroundings. And when you do feel the fear, breathing helps quite a bit. To take long, slow, deep breaths as you entertain the thought that this thing that you're afraid of is probably not going to hurt you. Slow, long, deep breaths do quite a bit for taking care of fear. I know a young woman who once wrote down everything that she was afraid of. She wrote it down so she could look at them and think about them and feel them while they're on a piece of paper and not directly in front of her. Seeing all of her fears made her realize that they were a little bit silly and certainly not a threat to her safety. But while you're breathing, or you're writing things down, or feeling your fear, you can always talk to somebody. You can talk to a friend. You could talk to your parents, or somebody you love or trust, like a teacher. talking about your fears helps them get lighter. It's true. But the most wonderful thing you can do with these fears is to step a little bit closer to them. Very small steps as you get closer and closer to the thing that very much scares you. Your body gets used to being scared and it starts to relax. And don't forget, without fear, there can be no courage. If you weren't afraid of something, it would take no courage to go ahead and just do it. Fear is the door between where we are and where we want to be. What we want is always on the other side of fear. And that's where your courage comes in. So, thank your fear. What a marvelous thing to do, to remind you that you have courage. Well, I'm feeling quite a bit better right now about talking to people that I don't know. I'm not so nervous as I was before. I wasn't terrified, but I was definitely a little bit tight. And I had stories in my head that the people won't like me and they won't find what I have to say very interesting, and that they will judge me. All these things made me afraid. But now, I feel so much better because I discovered courage. I am very courageous. Did you know that? I am practically a hero. Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I have a little bit of courage.